Welcome to the Running with James podcast, where every Hyrox athlete, OCR competitor, and the everyday runner has a place. We're passionate about building a community that supports, building confidence that empowers, and building champions who rise. Together, we'll push limits and chase what moves us. Remember, when you change your mind, you change your life. Now here's your host, James Wyatt.
And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. People, I'm your host, James Wyatt.
Host with the most.
With the most patience, the most love, the most knowledge, the
Love.
most fitness.
Love. If you were the most love, you'd be giving out hugs left and right.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I've been hugging full lately.
Yeah, you did. I saw you give Luana a hug at her track meet.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I gave Melanie a hug.
Melanie spoke of the hug.
I embraced her.
Embrace?
I went for the hug.
Went?
I chased her down for the hug.
Oh, so it wasn't like you got hugged.
Oh, no. I went in for the
You
hug.
got to be careful. She's getting big in her britches. She's starting to feel like she's like invincible. She's like, James hugs me.
That's the goal.
I know. She feels like
That's
she can
easy.
start walking in feeling like she can do whatever she wants.
Building champions, hence
That's the goal.
BC.
So what the goal is to build them up to the place of like such confidence they can do whatever they want, and then when they start getting too big for their britches, you bring
Crush
them back
them.
down again.
No hugs for you.
No hugs for you.
went-
That's right.
That's right. So I hugged Anna. I gave Amo a hug. I've been like I said, I've been hugging full.
Hugless over here. No hug. I know.
I slapped your backside.
I'll take that.
That's
more than a hug.
greater
Never
than a
mind.
hug.
That's true. That's never mind.
Yeah. I cupped.
That was a little giddy. Got a little giddy up. That's what's kind of propelled me this week, I think.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. It'll do it. So Hyrox Houston is over. I saw an interesting stat. 20,000 competitors.
Was that how many? I thought 21, but that's a lot.
17,500 finished the course.
Oh my.
20,000, 17,500 finished the course. That many people did not finish.
So that means that many people either didn't show up,
Yeah.
right? So in other words, they either did the flex option or whatever,
Yeah.
or they didn't finish the race.
I did see I saw a lot of medics out there.
That's
I
like
saw
the
a lot of medics.
I saw a lot of medics going out.
disqualified like 5 people.
Did you
personally.
really? I never DQ'd anybody.
Yeah, but I didn't disqualify them because like they broke the rules, but because they quit.
See, I talked a guy off the ledge from doing that.
I talked a guy off. He wanted to drop the bag at the lunges.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, listen, if you drop it once, it's only a 15-second penalty.
Yeah.
Drop it and just wait here until you feel good and then go.
That's hard. Like when you're a head judge and we want people to do well.
Sure, yeah.
When people just say they just they can't do it anymore, that's hard to see because you want them
To finish, yeah.
we want you to finish.
Yeah, no, he was very apologetic.
Oh,
So like
I hate
he
that.
waited there probably for a good 15, 20 minutes. And then he started lunging again. And I was like, yeah, you got this, man.
Yeah.
And he got about halfway down the back stretch. And he looked at me and he's hanging on the fence. He's like, I got to quit. I'm sorry. I let you down. I let you down. I was like, oh, you didn't let me down.
I don't even know you.
I don't even know your name, for crying out loud.
I know he's a number.
But he made me feel bad for him. And I was trying to encourage him. I was like, you can do it, man. I promise you can do it. And he's like, he dropped the bag. He's like, no, I can't. I was like, okay. All right, man. Well, so I had to DQ him. But like I said, I DQ'd 5 people. And that was on Thursday, the early shift.
That's just the first day.
I think they need to the SEALs when you gotta go ring a bell.
you have to. That's shame. That's like the walk of shame.
That's messed up.
Or like Long John Silver.
I'm messed up, I guess. But that's how I
I
feel.
just thought that was a very interesting statistic.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Because that's a lot of people.
a lot of people.
Based off of what they said signed up that did not finish that race.
Wonder if that's correlates to a marathon of people not finishing.
Maybe.
I'd be curious.
I'd be curious to see
Yeah.
that too. Yeah. Because there's always a good group of people who don't make the time cutoff either. Not to mention the people who end up
Outrun
in the
the
med
bus.
tent. Yeah.
Yeah.
People we know who
It's
outrun the
just
Exactly
hide from
right.
the bus.
You're not going to take me alive, coppers. So I just thought it was. I saw one post of a lady who ended up in the hospital.
I did. I saw that one.
See that one?
Like she
Yeah,
was
I
like,
see that.
how it started. Yay, on the skier smiling, and how it ended.
She's in the freaking hospital bed.
Was she-
Yes.
Do y'all know what she went out on?
She just said something about she passed out or something.
Yeah.
Woke up in the hospital bed or something.
Wow.
So, but she said she trained so hard.
I try to laugh. I'm not. Just try not.
So I'll be honest. There were moments in my race where I felt like I was going to die. Like seriously, like I was hurting like a lot. I was very proud of myself. Like usually I don't say that. Have you ever heard me say that?
Can I?
That you're proud of yourself?
I feel like I've heard you say that.
That I'm proud of myself?
I feel like
I would say I've never heard those words a lot, but I feel in some of you speaking, you can tell you take pride in your races.
I would agree.
Does that make
I
sense?
would agree to that.
Sure.
I'll agree with that.
What were you going to say?
I forgot already.
Your apples were like up in the air. You were like had something like and I cut you off.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. When you were how you said you were hurting, I'm going to be honest. I learned from both of you. I'm real glad I didn't do my relay.
Yeah, no, you were much better off not doing that dang relay.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, even though we
I
got a
felt bad
podium,
not to do
even
it.
though we got
Y'all
a
did
huge,
great.
PR and we smashed that
Y'all were
race,
moving.
It was a fun race.
it was a lot of fun.
Y'all were
I wish I
moving.
had not done it because it crushed me for my race from beginning to end.
I would go I think it helped me a little bit
Yeah.
just because of where my training was. Remember, I was sick for a week
Sure.
and then my hip. So I was kind of, I didn't like do a bunch of stuff. I mean, I kind of kept my runs, but I didn't like ramp up. I just kind of kept it, going into the race. So for me, it really helped that, hey, I could still push.
Yeah.
I was able to push the runs. And so that gave me a little bit of confidence going into Saturday.
Okay.
But I would say my calf was a little tight.
Yeah.
That was not the.
Bro, my quads were so like heavy and full of lactate.
For your race?
Like for my race, from the beginning of the race, like the moment we started, I took off that first lap and I was like, this is gonna be a long day.
But then also, it didn't help. I mean, I wish I could have stayed this ceremony.
Yeah, it was like midnight.
It was like 11:45
Yeah.
with the start of it. So I don't know when you guys even went up there.
I got to sleep at 1:00 in the morning.
See, that would be just as maybe even worse for me for the race kind of deal. So at least, I mean, if you were able to sleep in or whatnot, but as
I really hope that they.
Yeah, my sleep was,
Never
I think
do
I got
that again.
a 50.
yeah, that's not what you want to see.
Yeah, no.
That's all I had all weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole week, my sleep score was crappy. Just the whole week was just really tough. So, but, what I meant when I was saying I was proud of myself is that I fought through the pain and still, like, hit the paces, still, did all the stuff. And, if you were to look at me, you probably couldn't tell that I was,
I thought y'all looked solid.
like, dying inside.
I could tell you were a little tired.
Oh, yeah?
At the finish line.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was without a doubt. I mean, we made a project out of those wall balls, so there was no doubt.
No. When you crossed, I was like, oh, he gave it his all.
Yeah,
And
no,
so,
for sure.
in a good way.
Yeah. So, but when I went back and looked at the stats, like our running, we were actually faster than we were in Phoenix.
Okay.
I was highly surprised about that. I thought,
Yeah.
the laps were faster. We were running like 350 to 355 laps or whatever, which is way faster than we ran. Not say way fast, but it's faster than we've ran before. And every station we were faster, except for the dang freaking sled pull and the wall balls. And we were way off on those.
I saw, correct me if I'm wrong, I saw your sled pull go to the side a little bit.
Maybe.
I saw it go to through Larry's Facebook. To me, I mean, it wasn't the best quality.
have a great lane. It was
but
really
but
nice.
I saw you go to the edge and it went in that like side part where you don't want it kind of deal. I was like,
It was. We were 48 seconds slower on the sled pull in Phoenix in Houston than we were in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right? And we did a lot of sled pulling.
Yeah.
Since
There's so many
Phoenix.
sled pulls.
So like, there's no way we got weaker at the sled pull.
Yeah.
Right? So it was a tough lane we got. Right. So the sleds didn't move that great. And yeah.
No, I saw. I mean, a lot of controversy online about it. But when I was waiting for Gabby and Bianca, and I was watching the lanes, you could literally tell.
see the difference.
You could see the difference. Like you come in all the way to the end. The first two lanes, you could see. The first people, the girls, obviously pretty fit, running in there.
They're struggling.
And they got on it. I was like, ooh, I could just tell they were bad. And then I saw like the third, fourth, somewhere around there in the middle. They were just like, that was the women's open weight. They were just like, you could see the strong legs just butter going across.
I saw one
Yeah.
video of like guys would like, you're pushing it with your teammate and they would give it an extra push before their teammate switch and it would keep pushing, keep going.
No way.
Yes. And then there was guys like 6 or 8 lanes this direction closer to the beginning who like were like struggling, like physically like hurting to get the thing to move at all. I mean, they were having to and it's usually very inefficient. They were having to pick the sled up.
It
to
worked.
Get it to move
It worked
on.
better.
and it was better that way than it would be.
Because I saw Bianca start doing that, and she started picking it up. I was like, no, but it went quicker. I was like, no, keep doing it.
Because the surface area of that, the paint or whatever that's rubbed off the bottom of those sleds was less.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, like you could see like visible differences.
You could. I saw a lot of videos, and it made me. I started to get a little nervous going into our race for it. I was like, oh boy. And I was like, I can't think about it. It is what it is. But we got lucky. I think.
Well,
on
when
lane.
Saturday, at least when we went, they did opposite. They started on the other side.
Well, it just happened to be because what they do is they teardrop it.
Oh,
so by the time
okay.
you got there, that's just where it was in the cycle.
Okay, so they got to the end kind of deal. Oh,
So,
okay.
But I'm trying to encourage some of my athletes, who were kind of like had the same situation. They were unfortunate with the sleds. Here's the deal: you're racing. You can't control everything.
You gotta prepare for
so
the worst.
whatever happens, you work through it. You don't
Yeah.
let that be your excuse for giving up or not succeeding. You work through it. You fight through it, and what happens happens.
Well, and then I think it's a good way to reflect why we always encourage people to train more or heavier than what you'll do in race day, because it will help prepare you for worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I did talk to someone, kind of same thing. They were disappointed with their time, and I basically kind of pointed out, I was like, well, it didn't destroy you. Yes, that you were able to come back from that. So
Yeah.
that kind of shows you. I always kind of, like you said, maybe you didn't hit your time, but how was your fitness?
Yeah.
That's a good indicator. Like, you can't control a bad sled lane, but were you able to bounce back? Were you able
Well,
to kind
like
of?
in our situation, we had a bad one. We struggled. We were way slower than we've been ever, but yet we still had an opportunity at the end of the race to PR.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even with that just made it harder for us to do it. But because we were so much fitter and everything else, we still had the opportunity to come across the finish line faster than we'd ever gone before. And so I think that's one of the fun things about racing is learning how to like persevere, kind of through those challenges and stuff like that.
No, 100%. Like, me and Tommy, we did not get our goal time, but I felt the way we raced. I was really, like you said, I was proud of the effort of,
Yeah.
like, we both kind of put in and, fought through it. And, it was fun. I think I told you before, like, Phoenix, meltdown on the wall balls. And so
It can happen.
It can happen. So I was like,
we melted on ours.
so I was just like, no, I wanted to finish strong. And I really felt like our last, half of the race, we really kind of picked it up and fought through it and, really finished strong.
Yeah, that's good. Well, what I wanted to do, guys, so, we're not going to just talk about High Rocks Houston, this whole I think you guys have you might be High Rocks Houston out right by this time.
I doubt
I've
it.
seen all the social media and
They're still coming. No, they're eating it up.
yeah,
They are.
Okay. So, but I thought what we could do is, I'm going to start this new segment on the Patreon called the Coach's Corner. And so I'm going to bring in like athletes that I coach, other guests and things of that nature. And we're just going to kind of talk about, what it is to be an athlete, what it is to be coach, what are the struggles, what is your life, kind of tell stories a little bit. And so I thought it'd be good today to kind of introduce the idea of that. And, kind of give people a taste on, on the standard opening. And if they, that way, if they make the right decision and become a Patreon member, they'll have access to that as well. Right. And so, that's really what I want to do today is kind of break down, like, as an athlete, so as you as an athlete, Carlos, as you, Lauren, as an athlete, what are some of the things you go through on a daily basis, right? What are some things you go through on race day? What are those things? So like Carlos, you're a dad,
Correct.
you're a husband,
Correct.
probably one of the best husbands of all time, right?
I try.
Yeah, really close to it.
Thank you.
And you have a job,
Correct.
right? You're coaching, so there's a lot of different hats that you have to wear, but all at the same time, you're also an athlete.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get faster and stronger. You have to work out. You got to make time for things. Lauren, Lauren's a dog mom. She's a cat mom.
Cats,
Cat.
plural,
I am
plural.
Cats.
I'm
Maybe
a
like a
mom.
maybe.
Many
Would you
furry
call that a herd?
No, it's actually called a clouder.
That's not better.
The clouder.
That sounds,
that's
that's not good. Anyway, I
a
digress.
clouder of cats.
A clouder
Okay.
of cats.
So you're, you work for like 20 different companies.
I do.
You're always gallivanting to some new thing all the time.
Always gallivanting.
Different gas stations for coffee.
You're always at different gas stations for coffee. That's got to take a ton of
Always.
time up. all at the same time while trying to train, right, and take care of the responsibilities that you have, right? So as athletes, we're all at different levels of responsibility, but somehow we all figure out a way to do what needs to be done to get whatever goals we might have.
Yeah.
Right. And so, starting kind of with you, Carlos, kind of tell me, what are some of the things that, like maybe other athletes that you've worked with or, other competitive people, what are some of the similarities you feel like you've had to struggle with, right, with your busyness of every day, trying to figure it out that people can maybe relate to?
I would say, just recently, getting sick.
Okay.
I had that stomach bug. I was out for a week, and I almost heard my own voice in my head telling the athletes, when you come back, don't start trying to make up everything. I hear athletes all the time getting sick. They miss a couple workouts, and all right, coach, I'm just going to double up here. Like, no, just forget that beginning of the training week. Just start from Wednesday.
Okay.
Don't. And I had to tell myself the same thing. I had the same struggle. I was like, my fitness, I haven't done anything for a week. It's gone. I'm learning to walk again. So I had to really kind of, fight that inner, monologue of you need to do more. You need to do more. So it was there, but just kind of knowing that it's not going to lead to anything good.
Okay.
So,
Lauren, what about you? What do you feel like kind of leading up to, say, race day or those, with all the things that you're doing and all the responsibilities you have and, all the time fillers that you have, what are the things that you did differently or maybe that you did based off of what you told your athletes to prepare for like the race going in?
I would say pretty similar to Carlos. I didn't get sick or anything, but I think it is very natural. Like when you start getting to closer to like the race day, you start to really reflect on all the training. And I think it's very easy, even for like a coach, to like start wondering, have I done enough to get me the goal I want? Because I did have a very specific goal in mind with me and my partner. So you have to fight the urge to want to do more. But I think this time around, I just really focused on reminding myself literally every day, the work is done. You're not going to make anything better by trying to pile anything on, just like you tell your athletes. So relax, focus on mobility, focus on stretching and going and feeling good. Really, I focused a lot on my eating.
Okay.
Like I really, really put a lot of mental energy into like paying attention to my eating.
Okay. So you're juggling a lot, right? You probably juggle in a different way, right? You juggle more probably than we do. Okay. So when you're juggling a lot and, things start to get kind of challenging, what's some of your internal dialogue to kind of encourage yourself or keep moving forward?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Looking to take your running to the next level? Whether you're just getting started or chasing the next PR, my dad, Coach James, and BC Fitness have you covered. Join our in-person or online run coaching. Plug into our free weekly run club and train alongside a community that's built different. From High Rocks and OCR to daily group fitness classes at our Houston gym. This is where athletes are made. Come run with us, train with us, grow with us. Visit mybcfit.com and start building your best.
You might just have to decide, like you have to, it's hard because I do still struggle with some of these things, but I think I have to start having conversations. Okay, what can you maybe put on the back burner for now? Or not necessarily the back burner, but what are the things that need to take top priority right now?
as I prioritize.
Yeah, I have to really like look at everything I'm putting on my plate, and I have to prioritize and like, okay, what can I remove temporarily just so I can focus on maybe trying to sleep or trying to actually sit down and eat a real meal or cooking. I actually did meal prep. So I actually made sure I gave myself time to meal prep for the week prior to race day. So I think it's really is really prioritizing all that you're managing.
Okay. So then Carlos, kind of in that same vein, do you ever feel like with some of the busyness, like Lauren's talking about and prioritization, do you ever feel or deal with, doubt or even fatigue when it comes to, kind of life spilling into training or even like into race day? Like, you're dealing with the sickness, but you still got all this other stuff going
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I joked with you on race week. I was like, I should be deloading or tapering, but I'm giving stretches out left and right.
Yes.
So I was
Power
definitely,
baby.
I think one day I had like 6 stretches and I was stretching until like 9:30 at night.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm tired, boss. So,
Yeah.
but you know, you want to take care of your athlete. So it's kind of, I think what what Lauren said, prioritize. So even after I was tired, I still made sure I did some stretching, some foam rolling on myself, and kind of did my still nightly routine, even though it was a little bit later kind of deal. So
Sure.
so it's kind of like making sure you kind of stick, make a plan. Even though it might have to adjust a little bit. And I think, like Lauren said, I really focused on my nutrition.
Okay.
I had, I probably, built, at least a portion of BC with buying all those heels for the, I'm sure you probably saw my name and I ordered those online. So just because I know it was a quick, easy meal for me,
Yeah.
especially how was I was going to be, I stocked up. So I had a lot of just stuff ready to go when I was on the run. So I could drink one of those, I don't want to give a promotion, for a company, but 400 calories, I just take one of those versus stopping and getting like fast food or something.
Okay.
So I knew what my schedule was going to be busy, and I just made sure I had a plan for it.
Okay. So then what do you feel like keeps you locked in when a lot of times people check out, right? When they feel overwhelmed, when there's, a lot going on. What do you feel like are some of the things that help keep you locked in when most people would check out?
I really remind myself I love doing this. I do. I mean, when you think about it, I really love training. That is like my jam. I love getting a good workout in, a run with my dogs. I really just love that time. So it can sometimes, if you start thinking of it as a chore or a burden, then I can see how it gets overwhelming. But when it's something like you look forward to, okay, this is my part of the day I love, that it doesn't seem as bad. You really make time for it.
Yeah. So was there like any time, because we talk about it was a long weekend, right? And it was a long week leading
Yes.
up to the weekend, right? Was there ever like a specific moment in this particular race where you like had to make a mental decision, right? Where maybe you were hurting or maybe you were challenged, where you had to make a mental decision not to back off, right? Not to like mail it in or ease up?
Yeah, a little bit. I can't remember what run. Maybe in like the second run, Tommy started going.
Yeah.
Like, Tommy.
You grab his pocket.
No, he was a little ahead of me.
Couldn't get his pocket.
I couldn't get his pocket. I was reaching. I was like, well, I guess we're going.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's just kind of dig into the hurt a little bit. So I held up and kept up, and then I would say a really like proud moment. I was hurting. What lap was it? Maybe in 6. I think it was like 6th or 7th lap or a run, and I was like, this is hurting, but I was like, you know what? This is just like track.
Yeah.
Where you're going to push it. I was like, so I just kind of buckled down. I was like, I know at track, we run into those laps, hot. We were going even hotter, but then get to the workout, just those couple of breaths, I know I recouped. So I wasn't scared to kind of keep pushing.
Sure.
So that's kind of, I had that quick moment of, can I do this? But then just kind of like always talk about kind of go back to the training.
Okay. What about you, Lauren? Was there like a specific moment in the race where you had to make like a mental decision, say, you know what, I'm not going to ease up or I'm not going to like back off?
I wouldn't say in the race. I think it was like, well, I was going to say really it was before the race. Like I came into this race with a very different mindset, which was very refreshing. Like I actually think this was probably a race that 21 races under my belt, and reflecting on it, I don't think I've ever gotten into a race and in the race have felt more confident and felt actually like I was truly enjoying what I was doing than I did in this race. And I think a lot of that had to do with my partner, because I've gotten to know her. We've formed a very good friendship, and I've gotten to like really work with her and just be amazed with how fast and how strong she really is. And I think she really kept me accountable in that, and she trusted me to guide her and push her. So I think just from like once we got past the sleds, it was like, all right, let's go. And we just went for it and full send pretty much the whole way. There's a few moments where I think we kind of like try to monitor ourselves just to make sure we could handle ourselves at the very end. But yeah, I think throughout the entire race, I was just like very committed to like pushing us as best as we could, but also like knowing she trusted me to like guide her through that.
Okay. So, Carlos, how long have you been coming around BC now?
Ooh, at least, gotta be at least 6 years.
6?
It has to have been like 2019
maybe.
or 18, somewhere around, right around there kind of deal.
What about you, Lauren? I guess since the beginning, pretty much, right? For the
Close
most part.
to, I mean, maybe 2018.
Maybe.
Yeah, because you had some
Maybe
people.
about the same amount of time.
I
Yeah,
mean,
you're
it's
right.
hard. It's hard to say. I would say probably close to Carlos. It's kind of hard to say because I've known you just since
Yeah.
before. But
Actually, I think it might have been after Carlos.
was it after?
Really?
I think
Maybe.
so, yeah. I think
That's
so.
possible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's possible.
I apologize for giving her so much credit.
Take it back.
I take it back.
That's possible because Joyce was here technically before me.
Yeah. So
yeah.
she's been here since the beginning.
Yeah, she's been
So
here.
I just kind of like, I was more of an outlier because I was, traveling, but then, I really like met you and Joyce and who else was it? Tommy, like during COVID when I was here more
Michelle,
often.
yeah.
Yeah, Michelle. Yeah.
Yep. So what do you feel like since, like you two guys, like since you've been here or been a part of it, what do you feel like has been like, or what do you feel has made the biggest difference maybe in your performance over the years?
The people, honestly. And I mean that we've had so many people. We've had so many people join the gym. Like the gym as a community has grown so much, but that's brought in so many different levels of people in different types of athletes. Like we've had so many strong, like for me, there's been so many like strong and fast women who've come in that have inspired me to like up my game every time.
Okay.
Like every time I think I'm like kind of starting to feel like maybe I'm feeling a little big in my britches, like there's someone else who comes in and crushes me. And I'm like, okay, I got to work a little harder now.
Gotcha. What about you, Carlos? What do you feel like's been like the biggest like difference in like, your performance? Like how do you feel like you've changed over the years?
Learning about training.
Okay.
So, training under you, really kind of, I really like to be like a student of, the game kind of deal.
Gotcha.
So just learning about, I've always picking your brain. Why are you doing this kind of deal? Why are you doing that? And so when I did become a trainer, it was kind of funny seeing some of the, when I got my certificate or whatever, it was just kind of funny. A lot of the principles were already there that I already knew them kind of deal, just, my knowledge had a good foundation.
Gotcha.
And then running. So I found that, just learning about how to train has really helped me kind of up my game versus just kind of doing, I would say, random workouts or just not having the, the rules like we put in place, the progressive overload, 80-20. I think those have just, progressed me from, being consistent and not getting injured like I'd had done before in the past.
I find that kind of interesting is because oftentimes, so you mentioned the rules, right? So we have the 5 golden rules of training, right? Running, whatever you want to apply it to. I find it very interesting that oftentimes people look at rules and they don't like them. Most people feel like rules hold them back,
They're restraining them.
right? They
Yeah.
keep them from, doing the things they want to do. But what I have learned is like how the importance of the rules is that they're guidelines really more than anything else. They give you direction. They're kind of like guide rails to keep you from getting off of, the path to your goal.
Yeah.
So to get sidetracked, right? So you mentioned consistency, right? So like what did you start doing consistently that maybe you weren't doing before?
I would say,
Because you were always training.
yeah,
Some fashion,
I
right?
would say having like training blocks.
Okay. So like actually having a direction.
a direction kind of deal, not just kind of, I would say more random workouts. And typically what you see, I'm sure, coming into all the time, random workouts, occasionally like doing a class somewhere and, running sporadically, 5-6 miles every now and then.
So actually measuring it,
Yeah.
keeping a track of it, and seeing that progression.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Lauren? What do you feel like has been like something that you started doing consistently that you weren't doing before?
I'd say probably something very similar. I think it helped me. My running has become much more consistent. It's not just going out and like running until I die, but it's also every workout has an intention. There's an intention behind every day with how I approach my workout, whether it's easy, it's just strictly like if you easy miles of running, it's a really hard strength effort. It's not guesswork anymore. Like there's a rhyme and a reason and there's a flow
Okay.
to everything.
So what do you think has surprised you the most about that training and about your growth overall?
I don't even know if I would say it surprises me anymore, but I mean, I did a lot of competitive things. I mean, we competed on different things together in the past, but there was no rhyme or reason to how we used to train back in the day. But now I think I'm so much stronger than I was then. And I'm definitely doing less. I don't know if I would say now it doesn't really surprise me, but like if you'd asked me, 3 years ago, I would probably not believe that I'd be stronger now than I was then. But I think back on it, I'm like, I wasn't super strong then.
Gotcha.
I was just able to swing from things.
Right. So what about you, Carlos? Has there been anything that surprised you about your growth?
Yeah, actually, becoming a runner.
Okay.
Just definitely, putting that much time into, think back now what I used to run, and, now, the norm is, 25 miles, that's just kind of a base. So it's kind of crazy. If I look back at my Garmin, just, that's like my average for, every year, 20, 25, 30 miles. It's like, wow, that's pretty amazing to kind of think about from where I started.
Yeah, that's good. So then, obviously it's a journey, right? We're working through this. So I believe we've had a lot of successes, conquered a lot of things. I was talking to one of my athletes earlier today, and they weren't like super excited with their performance, with like how things went. And so, that's kind of one of my jobs, I feel like, as a coach, is to kind of be the voice of reason, and
talk them off the ledge
where they've come from. Cause it's easy to forget who you used to be. And, sometimes I feel like we remember ourselves better than we actually were.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you realize that you've done this race this year, and you've PR'd every one of them except for the one you just did. And the one you just did was still your second fastest you've ever done. And it was faster than, I'm going down the list. Like, you improved here. I'm like showing all the things. And then they kind of stopped me like, you're kind of right. And so, I think oftentimes we make the mistake of focusing on like what we feel is not success, instead of trying to find the successes in everything we do, hold on to the things that are like more positive and stuff. But, even with that, so we've been pretty successful, in training and the people we've coached and, in racing and things of that nature. But we've also, I've made mistakes, I can look over, I remember the first guy I remember doing run coaching with, and it was before I was even a certified run coach. I was going through the process, and he was like, hey man, I heard you were getting certified as a run coach. Will you coach me? And I was like, well, I'm not certified yet. He's like, well, you can practice on me. So I didn't even charge him, right? It was just like me working with him. And I was like still trying to figure out like the best way to create training blocks and, all this other stuff. And, I was already adept at creating plans and, progression and all that other stuff. But like the detailed stuff that I've kind of, for lack of a better term, mastered, was new at the time, right? So I hadn't really completely developed my training philosophy, and like the rules hadn't been established or any of the other stuff. And so, I remember coaching him and basically learning on the job. And, when it got hard, I didn't know how to like make the right like encouragements to keep him going, right? Because he was struggling to slow down. He was struggling to keep his heart rate down, all those stuff. And so I think I coached him for maybe a month and a half or something. And then he just kind of stopped running. He's like, this is too hard for me. Well, now I get that every other day.
I was about to say, you're used to that now.
Yeah. So now I know how to work through it. I know how to coach through it. I know how to encourage people, and kind of like, I'm a little gentler now than maybe I was at the time. And so, there's definitely been things I've learned and mistakes that I've made or things I've gotten wrong in training. So, kind of with that in mind, what are some of the things maybe that you feel like, Lauren, starting with you, what are some things you've gotten wrong in training and racing over the years that you feel like you've gotten better at?
I would say, kind of going back to what we spoke about earlier about leading up to race days, just because you maybe were sick or hurt or like life happened and you missed a day, it's not going to make it any better by piling it on top of the next day. You can't just start adding everything together and thinking it's going to work. It's not going to work. So I think that's something I've had to, really, I've learned that lesson the hard way a few times over the years. And it's, I think, just now finally starting to kick in.
Okay.
So, but I think that's a big part of it, is learning that trusting the process. If you miss it, if you miss one, you miss one. Just, say, okay, it happened, get back to work the next day.
What about you, Carlos?
I would say probably early on fueling, the importance of fueling during a race kind of deal. So just kind of learning about that. And I'm still, learning, just trying to, I'm, experimenting with getting more calories in per hour rather than just one gel every 30 minutes. I'm really trying to push how many carbs I can maintain and seeing what I can still do without feeling bloated or sick. So I think early on, just work out and be fine. I don't want to waste a gel here, and it's,
We got to get past that, right?
yeah. So now I pop them like they're Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So what would you tell someone then that's, because you guys do a lot, right? You're pulled in all different directions by all different types of people and responsibilities and everything else. What would you tell someone trying to do it all like you are?
less is more.
Okay.
Don't try to do everything. I mean, I get too many athletes coming to, I need to do more. I was like, here you go, more sleep.
So be more efficient with your training.
Yeah, more mobility.
Focus on the things that are important.
Yeah, more nutrition. Those are things you can work on. You have plenty of training there.
Yeah.
So
what about you, Lauren? What's something you feel like you would tell someone that's, have that busyness in their life and they're trying to do all the things?
I think something I currently tell my athletes and just anybody in general, and I tell myself, is to give yourself grace and have patience with yourself. I mean, you're still, for a lot of people, you're learning to do something and juggle something very new. So you might not get it right the first time, but analyze, learn from it, adapt, and trust the process.
Okay. So, our big thing that we talk about all the time. So one of the things I'm really trying to focus on more so than anything, just because of all the leadership roles that I have in different places, right? So, one of the things I've been helping our pastor with his podcast on a weekly basis. Like I need another thing to film today. But I've been working with him on it. And so I've been kind of a guest host on there, right? And so it's actually a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying it because we get to have these really good conversations, and it actually helps me quite a bit. Rocky is another co-host on it, right? So that's been fun. Kind of.
I saw the clip of it.
Yeah.
Posted.
It's really good. The last one we did this past Tuesday was really good. It was very insightful, very, very specific to men too, I think, in some of the struggles we have, but it was a good episode. But one of the things that came up was, like his busyness, all the stuff that he does, right? So, I mean, he's a pastor of this church. He is the general overseer of an organization called the City Harvest Network, which is a worldwide organization for pastors, right? So my ordination, my pastorship is licensed through City Harvest Network.
Okay.
So they have like hundreds of thousands of pastors, right, that they oversee, right? So we answer to them for, anything we do, right? And so he is the general overseer of all those pastors. So he meets with like 8 to 10 pastors a day.
Wow.
Like phone calls, counseling sessions, training sessions, discipleship. Not to mention, he's a UN ambassador, right? So he's literally an ambassador for the United Nations, and so there's certain responsibilities that goes along with that. He talks to the White House like weekly.
Dang.
He's invited to the White House all the time. He never goes because he's too busy with everything else to either go pray or to speak to a group or whatever. A couple weeks ago, they wanted him to come up there and meet with the president about something. I forgot what it was. And he's like, nah, I'm not coming.
Dang.
I'm like, you got some...
Yeah.
You are confident in who you are to tell the president I'm not coming to you, right? So, but like with all that, I'm thinking to myself, how in the world do you do all of that? You know what I mean? But then I started thinking to myself, I was like, I'm pretty busy too. I got a lot going on as myself, right? And so, I think sometimes with all the busyness and all the things that we're doing, there's like an identity shift that ends up happening in your mindset, And so, our big thing here, one of the things that, kind of where I was alluding to or going to was that, when you are in a position of leadership, right? So when you're leading men or you're leading women or athletes or whoever, there's another level of like accountability and responsibility you're called to, right? So you can't do things the way you used to do them, right? You can't operate with the same level of like laissez-faire attitude where, you've got to be like,
You're setting an example.
Well, not just that, but your time becomes more valuable.
Okay.
Right. And your time becomes more valuable because more things demanding your time. And so you may be, you may be having to meet with multiple people, in a day while also having other things you need to get done, right? Whatever it may be, training plans, whatever. So, as a leader, as someone who is setting the tone or setting the example, I feel like having that shift in your mindset and your identity goes a long way in allowing you to be a good coach and allowing you to be the type of coach that the athlete that you're working with truly deserves, And so, we don't have the luxury, I believe, as coaches to respond to things the way maybe we used to respond to them, right? So that's maturity. Some of that's maturity, right? A lot of that comes from learning, right? Doing it wrong, right? Figuring it out, getting slapped in the face and being like, crap, that was horrible, But like holding yourself to another standard,
Yeah.
And so, we always sign this thing off with, when you change your mind, you can change your life, And so having that transformation, that identity shift, I know for a fact for both of you, there were times where you didn't think of yourself as a runner,
Yeah.
right? Or maybe you didn't think of yourself as someone who was, top tier, like you were physically capable of being a podium placer. You know what I mean? But over the years, there's been a shift mentally, right? And with your confidence as well. And so I think as that happens, it's also probably changed your training too.
Yeah.
Right? It's changed how you've looked at training, how you go about training, how you're consistent with training. So as a coach, right, as people who work jobs and have responsibilities, you're doing all these other things. What do you feel like has changed for you, or what do you feel like being how do you feel being? See if I can get this out. What does being an athlete mean to you at this stage of your life, with all the things you've got going on? What does that word mean to you as an athlete? What does that mean at your stage of your life?
Carlos first. I got to think on that.
It is very proud feeling.
Okay.
Very proud feeling. We always kid about my age, and I'm very proud to still be out there, go toe the line, go put my body, I feel very blessed that I can still go out there. And like I said, I really enjoy the workouts.
Yeah.
To be, if you look at other people at round 50, there's people on medication, can't walk, or just limping along. So I really, thank God every night that just the ability to go move and push myself is, something I really appreciate every day and really look forward to. So it's just kind of something I'm very proud of where I've become and really taken my body to these last 12 years of just kind of, it went out for just trying to, be the best shape of my life when I hit 40 to continue to evolve.
So do you feel like as an athlete that's changed you outside of running and racing?
100%.
Yeah.
It's definitely, changed a lot of things, how I think about things, of, confidence, bleeding into, other parts of my life, being, learning to stay calm.
Okay.
That's one big thing as an athlete. Don't panic. That's definitely, I've felt I've had that, but I feel it's really honed in as the athlete. It's helped really progress that. So when a situation gets tough, I just, try to harken back just to staying calm.
Okay. Well, let me reverse that then, Lauren, to maybe give you a leading opportunity for that question.
Okay.
How has training changed you outside of running and racing? So outside of like the athletic side of things, how has the training or the competition changed you?
I feel like in training, there's definitely been some sessions I've come to that I really questioned, like my place and like, I don't know if I'm meant to do this because it was just so hard. I mean, we've done training sessions where I've like been like in the bathroom dry heaving. I've had sessions where I'm like crying in a corner, and I'm always questioning, or not always, I find myself questioning like my place and whether it's something I'm actually capable of doing. And then fast forward past those moments and I'm still doing it, and what was making me cry and dry heave and like have those little episodes, I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's been
As much.
as much. I'm
sorry.
as much. You know, sometimes I'm still humble. Sometimes I'm still very
I had
humble.
an athlete earlier today who you've both cried together.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me like,
Yeah.
oh, we didn't have really hard workouts where I felt like I was being so crushed. And I was like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
you were crying,
I will
embracing Lauren. The two of you were crying each other. What are
Yeah.
you talking about? She's like, oh yeah, I forgot about
No,
that.
I didn't forget about that. I know exactly what workout we're talking about, and I definitely did not forget about that workout. That was
How easily they forget.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
forget.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think those moments have really taught me that how hard things are gonna get, and you keep your head down. You just do one foot in front of the other, as hard as it is, and you just eventually, because in the moment, those sleds did not feel light, and it never felt like I was going to get to the other side. And I
Sure.
was like, this is going to last forever. I'm just going to die here. I'm going to literally die right here.
Yeah.
But you do eventually push it all the way, and then eventually you do get past whatever that challenge is in your life, and you do look back at some point like, oh, okay, it took a while, and it hurt like a mother, but I got there.
Okay.
And so I think that's what I've learned.
So then through that
Yeah.
experience through training, how do you feel like that has affected you outside that athleticism in this stage of your life? So the athlete that you've become through the training, through the racing experiences, what does that mean to you at this stage of your life?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to unlock your full potential? I want to introduce you to the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, a powerful resource to transform your life today. With expert interviews, practical tips, and inspiring stories, this podcast is your roadmap to lasting wellness. Here's what a listener has to say.
I used to struggle with my health, but this podcast changed everything. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and life coach totally for free.
With over 2,000 five-star reviews, we're a podcast you can trust. The Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast, available now wherever you get your podcasts.
I think it means, again, the same thing. I think it's like things in life are going to feel very, very challenging, and they're going to really test you, and they're going to really resist you, and they're going to things won't always move. Sometimes it feels like it's not moving at all, or it's moving at a glacial pace. Glacial?
Sure.
Glacial?
Either one works.
Whichever.
Sure.
It's moving at a very slow turtle pace, and you're never going to get there. So you just have to keep doing one slow step in front of the other, and eventually it will get there. And you'll look back, and you won't always realize in the moment what you're building until like you're past it.
That was good, Lauren.
Thank you.
Actually, the slow step, quicken the cadence.
Quicken the cadence.
Quicken that cadence.
Quick in the cadence when you feel slow.
Yeah.
But that is so good because
Can we like make that a soundbite?
Sure, whatever you
I'm never
want.
going to say that again.
that was really good because here is, as a coach, what I've learned. Okay. When people come to you as a coach, oftentimes they're coming to you because they believe that you can give them something that they cannot give themselves to help them get where they've never been before. But in the coaching process, they seem to fight you every step of the way because you're trying to take them into unfamiliar territory. And that unfamiliar territory is what?
Change.
It's change.
Yeah.
And change is usually
Hard.
hard
And scary.
and scary
And
and
hurts.
uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel good,
It's new.
It's
you don't
new,
unknown.
right?
It's
And so
just-
since you've never been there before, you don't know what's going to happen. You can be fearful oftentimes, right? And so like what I have found is as a leader, as a coach, as a pastor, the biggest challenge is helping people get to a place they've never been before because of that fear they have in themselves, right? Or because they're uncomfortable with the process of taking them there. And it's always easier looking back, right? Going back, right? They say, pastor says like he's a pilot, so he talks about the 30,000 foot view, So when, what's the Nazca lines? Is that what it's called? The crop circle thing. You know what I'm talking about? The things like in South America where they're like different shapes.
Crop circles?
Well, they're not crop circles, but I think they're called the Nazca lines, and they have like spiders, and there's like different shapes of animals and things like that. And there are some like spiral circles and stuff in South America. If you saw them, you know what I was talking about.
Okay.
But they were made like 1,000 years ago or something like that.
No, I haven't
by
seen those.
like the local tribes of the time, and people are like, "Oh, aliens made these," because They're like, so they're huge. They're so big.
Like that movie Signs.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Right?
What you're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Yeah,
and so you can't actually see them
yeah.
unless you're really, really high, right? So unless you have like a 30,000 foot view
Yeah.
on the ground, it just looks like a path or lines or like a wall or something like that. But when you get up in the sky, you can actually see what?
You see like a shape.
You see a shape.
Yeah, you see an actual
Right?
shape.
You see some sort of an image, right? And so as you're going through the challenge or as you're going through the training process, all you see are maybe some lines or some barriers or something that's hard. But once you get through it and you make your way up the mountain and you look back down the mountain, you can see this image that was created, right? Or you see the big picture.
Yeah.
You can feel like the actual progression. And so that's why they always say hindsight is 20/20.
Yeah.
It's always easier to see behind you than it is in front of you, right? So like as a coach, that is, I feel like one of the more challenging things to do, right? That is an art in itself, to take people into places of discomfort, you know, and I mean, that's the only way you're going to truly be challenged and grow. And, you know, having the patience with people when they fight you every step of the way, you know what I mean? And when, you know, because they don't understand it, right? Or because they feel uncomfortable, they, you know, maybe they kind of withdraw to an extent. And so you've got to kind of go after them, right? You got to keep encouraging them, right? And so, you know, as you guys, as athletes, these are all things you guys have gone through on both sides of this spectrum, right? As an athlete and, you know, as coaches as well. And so, you know, I would encourage people, right? And I'm sure you guys might not second this, but I would encourage you to don't be afraid of the discomfort. Don't be afraid of the unknown, because oftentimes on the other side of the unknown, something awesome can happen. You know, I mentioned earlier, like I was proud of myself, right? So one of the things I coach all the time, Lauren probably hears me say it all the time, is that when the pace gets hard, he actually already said it, but when the pace gets hard, what do?
You keep going.
Well, Carlos.
Quicken the cadence.
Quicken the cadence.
Oh, okay. That. Yeah,
Drive the knee. Pick up the hills.
Yeah.
Quicken the cadence.
One
Drive
step
the
at a
knee.
time.
So only thing we're worried about now is just the form. Just have good form, because what we talk about is we've practiced that pace so many times because we don't do anything new on race day, that when we get to the place of hurt in the race, which we should expect
If you're not hurting, you're probably not going hard enough.
right? Then if you'll just focus on having good form, oftentimes you'll settle back into the pace, right? And so one of the things I was really proud of myself is that from the very beginning of that race, I was like in pain. You know, I was hurting. And in contrast to like say Phoenix, I didn't start feeling it until somewhere around like the lunges, you know, but I was so close to the end. I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, you know, I was locked in and felt very comfortable. Well, in this one, that was not the case at all, you know? And there were several moments. I treated it 100% like an interval. I didn't tell anybody this. I didn't say this to my partner. I didn't say this to Jessie Lee. I just simply was telling myself, all you got to do is make it through these 2 laps, and you're going to get a little break because she's going to start the workout. You get like a 10, 30-second break. You can reset there, right?
Yeah.
And then once we got the little break and we went through, and I was like, okay, you can 2 laps, James. It's 2 laps, and then we're going to be at the burpees, and it's going to suck. But it's okay because she's going to do like the start of it. And if you can make some big jumps, she'll even finish it. You know? So I'm like trying to,
You're negotiating.
I am negotiating with myself on how to keep moving forward. And I was like, all right, the rower's coming up. You're going to get a good 2-minute break here. This is where you can reset and you're going to be able to make it, right? You're going to get your gel and your life is going to change. And it didn't.
Those conversations that you have with yourself as an athlete in those moments are so funny when you think back to them.
When you look back at them, yeah.
When you look back at them, it's so funny because it literally is a full, like, theatrical, dramatic conversation.
Well, even more so than that, I'm also thinking, okay, just control what you can control, breathe, you know, do what you can do. Don't give yourself an out. You've hurt like this in training. You've trained for this. People are watching you. You've got to be a good
There's
example.
a camera somewhere.
Yeah, you've got to be a good example for people. Don't give up just because you're uncomfortable, right? And so like you're having this internal dialogue with yourself.
Yeah.
And when I went back and looked at like our pacing and the event as a whole, like we were faster than we've ever been before. We were we were so consistent on the laps. If you were to look at the at the metrics themselves, you would think that was a pretty good race. You know what I mean? But ultimately, we were a little disappointed because we didn't hit our goal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the ultimate goal. So looking back at that, I told my partner, I was like, dude, I'm really proud of this race. This may be one of the most encouraging events I've done in the past few years, knowing how I felt, knowing the load, knowing the week leading up to it, knowing the week that she had leading up to it as well.
Yeah.
And yet we were still able to perform at that level. Like, that tells me, like, the work that we've done, the fitness that we've gained, even though on the day we didn't perform at the level that we should have or could have performed at, is probably a better way to put it, we have it, right? And that's now our new baseline to build from.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's a lot of times, like Lauren was saying, I thought very eloquently, is how life is that challenges come up, tough times will come, but if we'll keep pushing through, we don't give up, we keep moving forward, that those challenges won't last forever.
I mean, like in our race, right after the sled pull, Tommy's hamstring tightened up.
It did, yeah.
He tightened, and he was like, "Oh man, my hamstring." I was like, "Cool." I was like, "Just grab some water. Let's just jog, see what happens."
Yeah.
Just go slow pace. And as we just kind of, like you said, keep moving, we kept moving, and then slowly kept going. Went from a slight jog, then we were kind of pretty much right back on pace.
Nice.
A little bit slower, but we finished the race.
Yeah.
So he could have been like, I'm going to quit, but he just kind of kept moving, and
He found a workaround.
He found a workaround. So I was
a
like,
way to figure it
that
out.
was kind of like really, like you said, really proud of this race, how we kind of fought through it.
That's good stuff. So, all right. So rapid fire real quick. Let me ask y'all some questions. Okay. Lauren, favorite workout? We'll say since the year has begun, right? Because I know you've done a ton. What has been your favorite workout?
Oh my
Go, quick.
Sunday track.
Sunday track. Carlos, favorite workout?
Death by sleds.
I knew you were going to say that. All right. Least favorite High Rock Station, Lauren. Go.
Burpees.
Carlos.
Lunges.
Okay.
I should put lunges.
Early morning or late night training? Lauren.
Early morning.
What?
I'm late to them all the time. But
Define early morning for her.
yeah. Define early morning.
It's still dark outside.
Oh, that early? No. Late night. I'll take the other dark.
I'll go early.
Early morning. Okay. Go to race day fuel. Lauren.
The BPN.
Okay. Carlos.
Look,
UCAN and BPN
Go
gels.
to race day. Pick one.
we're talking nutrition, right? The
Yes,
nutrition.
fuel.
BPN Gold.
BPN.
Go.
Both of y'all said BPN.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One piece of advice to busy moms or dads chasing their big goals. Carlos. One piece of advice for busy people chasing their goals.
I think I said earlier, less is more.
Less is more. Okay. Lauren.
10 minutes is better than 0 minutes.
Okay. Something
like
better
that.
than nothing.
Yeah, I
better
like
than
that.
nothing.
Very good. All right. Well, I would love for you guys to kind of leave our listeners, as amazing athletes that you are, with, if someone's listening right now, okay, and they're thinking that they don't have the ability, they don't have the talent, or they don't have the time to be good at running, racing, high rocks, whatever, what would you tell them?
Take a chance on yourself. I tell them take a gamble. Really commit to giving it a shot for 6 weeks, and then see how you feel about it.
We all started there. I talked to an athlete, and they're like, I think this is my 21st High Rocks race.
Okay.
And they're like, I'm just on number 2. I was like, I had to be at number 2
That's right.
at one point. We all started at 0.
Yeah.
And we all just kind of continue building. So
Yeah.
just remember that.
Yeah. Everybody started somewhere.
Yeah.
That's it. That's good. And the cool thing is once you start, if you commit to it, you can't help but get better.
No, it's awesome. I hate to say it's not, I don't mean to say it in a bad word, like addicting. It's just the success breeds success
It does.
kind of deal. So that just kind of, you get a little bit of taste of success as far as running, your fitness starts coming on, and it's just like, oh, I want more of this
What
kind of
else can
deal.
I do?
Yes. What can I, just staying consistent, that's a really good feeling to see, the progression you make as an athlete, as a person as well, like what you discussed, how it bleeds into other portions of your life.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. No, that's good. That's really good. I think one of the things that my goal has always been through BC Fitness and through the Run with James YouTube and podcast is really just to teach people and help people understand like the joy of being able to do things that you never thought you could do. You know, the confidence that it builds in you, the hunger that it helps you develop.
That's a good word. Yeah.
For more. You know, one of the things we started with at the beginning of this year was giving up the good for the great. You know, and there's nothing wrong with good stuff. Good stuff is awesome. But oftentimes you have to sacrifice if you want to get to a level of greatness. And in that growth toward that greatness, there's a lot of growth that you have to personally do, mentally, emotionally, a lot of maturity that has to develop. And I believe, you know, the type of good sacrifice that is required really can birth something that you may never have dreamed was possible before. And that's what I'm all about. I'm all about, you know, the Bible says that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And, you know, I think people oftentimes think that, you know, they have to try to do everything on their own. And the people that are the most successful, the people are the best at what they do, never did it alone.
Yeah.
They always did it with a team. They always did it with a group. They always leaned on people that were better than them, or at the very least, they leaned on people that cared about them enough to pour into them or to sacrifice for them, right? And so, you know, this life was never meant to be done alone. It was always meant for us to go through it as a journey together. And I think that's probably one of the most encouraging things I saw, you know, over this weekend was the amount of camaraderie, the amount of community, obviously, but really the amount of support, you know, that was shown for each and every one of our people, you know, of the BC crew. You know, I had a group of people that came in from out of town, and they were telling me how much they felt like they were a part of the community, even though they're never here.
Yeah.
They're from a completely different state, but they came in and people knew their names. People were excited to see them. They were cheering them on. They were encouraging them, and they felt like they were a part of the family, you know? And when you have that type of, it's really love is a form of love, but in that type of encouragement, and that kind of support, you know what? The sky's the limit, man. Like there's nothing you probably cannot accomplish because of the power of the team. So, you know, if you're not a part of a team, if you're not engaged in a community that's supporting you, you know, I would encourage you to try to find one, right? Lone wolves do not soar with the eagles. That doesn't make any sense at all, but it sounded really good.
I pictured a wolf with wings, though.
Yeah, right?
Sounds pretty badass.
I pictured a wolf with an eagle running like right above it, like with a sunset.
And soaring, right? And there was like a, So anyway.
Back tattoo unlocked.
Oh, yeah. Better believe it. That would be a nice one. So, but, you know, I think that's what my encouragement for you guys would be is wherever you're going to go, it's a lot better if you don't go alone. And there's some awesome communities out there, a lot of great gyms. There's a lot of great running communities. Obviously, if you're in the Houston area, BC Fitness is the best by far. Okay. I don't care what anybody says. You come find us and you come be a part and see what happens. You tell me.
Get smacked in the face with greatness.
That's right. That's what we're all about. Right. So that was an eagle. We're soaring with eagles.
Can I add one more thing?
Right. So
just kind of what you were saying in chasing greatness, and don't be afraid of it. Enjoy the journey to greatness. Really soak it in, that journey of each step you're making. Not just, I'm going to be happy when I get to this time, or, really just, take it one day at a time and really embrace each day of training and really just, find the joy in that everyday stuff.
Enjoy the journey, man. Enjoy. I mean, the training days are going to be a lot more than the race days.
Yeah,
you gotta find the joy in those things, right? So
race days like that,
it goes by quick, man. The race. I mean, it was a long weekend, but it went by super duper fast, right? So guys, we appreciate you coming in. We hope you enjoyed this. If you did, down in the comment section, let us know if you want more stuff like this. If you're a Patreon member, you're definitely getting more of this because this is going to be a series we're going to be doing on the Patreon. We already have the first episode recorded, and it'll be on there quite directly. And then, we're going to be missing one of our teammates here for a little while. Coach Carlos is going to be gone. He's going to be out working in the, ocean, the fields. I don't know where you're going to be.
In the oil field.
In the oil field.
Yep.
So he'll be gone for a few weeks. So we'll find people to kind of sub in for him. He can't be replaced. No one can replace.
I'm just moving hats for a little bit. So I'll be back to my Patreon member. So if you wouldn't mind giving me a shout out to Patreon member Carlos, Coach Carlos.
For sure. So
Perfect.
He'll be getting all the extra juicy content for sure, right? So
perfect.
We'll do an episode just for him.
Perfect.
Real
awesome.
special, right? So we'll have to record his laugh.
100%.
So that when I say something amazing to Lauren, we can press the button.
There you go.
Right?
I'll have a bunch of snarky remarks for Lauren.
I appreciate it. Maybe we can put all those on the button.
all those on there.
We'll get a button for all the Carlos.
Cat lady, your anxiety. Just have each one a little different button.
That just refers to those things.
Yes.
Because they will come up. So he'll be missed for sure. So we'll have some guest hosts in here. We're not replacing him. He'll be back. We're not replacing him yet. But everybody's replacing him. So even it's the Running with James podcast. Wouldn't that be awesome if there was like 3 people in here and nobody was named James? Wouldn't that be good?
That would be kind of
interesting.
That would kind of funny.
Like, why is this thing called Running with James? So guys, make sure you give a shout out to Coach Carlos. Let him know you're going to miss him. Wish him all the best. And in the interim, you're going to be getting some amazing content with Coach Lauren and myself and whoever the special guest is at the time. So you can become a Patreon member simply by going to patreon.com/runningwithjames. You can also go to mybcfit.com, click that Get Your Gear Now, and you get some sweet merch, and that supports the show as well. And then also you can support the show by sharing, liking, and subscribing on YouTube, and then following us on Instagram. You can hit me up at Running with James, Lauren at The Backyard Bohemian, and Carlos at Los 200. So as always, guys, we appreciate you. We hope you had an amazing weekend. If you raced High Rocks, proud of you. Way to go. If you got a race coming up, go get it. And no matter what, remember, when you change your mind,
you change your life.
Peace out, guys.
Change your mind, change your life.